Let's talk about drills. Drills are just a small section of a stroke, a turn, a start that we take and try and make a more bite-sized chunk or change it so that we can get a better understanding of how it functions. And there are countless drills. There are drills for every stroke. There are drills for flip turns. There are drills for open turns. There are drills for crossover turns. There are drills for dives. There are drills for backstroke starts. For almost every part of swimming that we do, there is probably a drill for it. I believe that when using drills, especially when it's directly connected to the stroke or the skill that we're trying to improve, is hugely beneficial in helping swimmers master whatever that stroke or skill or technique may be. And different swim coaches use different drills, and different swim coaches use drills for different reasons. But I'm really just going to talk about the three main purposes that we use drills at Missoula Aquatic Club. The first is stroke progression. And all stroke progression is about how we build a stroke. Where does it start? What's the foundational skill that we need to do? And then how do we scale it up into the full stroke that we do in competition? Stroke progression drills are drills that help us break down a stroke into small, specific, isolated parts. That way we can learn the specific skill that's necessary for completing the whole stroke one piece at a time. And in our stroke progression, we slowly add more and more pieces of that stroke until we put together the entire stroke. One of the examples of this is starting with single arm freestyle, just focusing on one arm pull at a time, alternating arms, which arm we use, a 25 or a 50 at a time, then isolating the arms together, so doing our 2-2-2 drill, 2 strokes of the right arm, 2 strokes of the left arm, and then 2 full cycles. And so that's just one example of how we use drills to build a stroke progression. Another way we use drills is technique refinement. We'll take a part of our stroke technique, whether it's looking at our catch, our recovery, our breath, our timing, whatever it is, and we'll find a drill that's going to help us get a better sense of that particular piece of technique. And in stroke refinement drills, we often use drills that require over-exaggeration. So we're really just emphasizing whatever that movement is, whatever that skill is, whatever that timing is, really trying to over-exaggerate it to get a sense of what it may feel like so that we can implement it in the skill as a whole. An example there would be to say that, doing catch-up freestyle is an over-exaggeration of the pull timing that we want in our freestyle. And the third way we use drills is to build the physiological or biomechanical foundations that are necessary to be able to do certain strokes or turns or starts. An example of this is when we practice just doing free-floating front flips in the pool, or when we practice doing free-floating back flips in the pool. Both of these are just helping us, one, develop the strength that it may take to do a flip turn, that's our front flip practice, or do an open turn, that's our back flip practice, and two, to develop the coordination to do those things in a larger piece of our turn. And we may use these, physiological or biomechanical foundational kind of drills as parts of our stroke technique, or we may use them kind of isolated to help swimmers who have specific needs in those areas. And there is debate about the responsible use of drills. For years and years and years, drills have been the foundation of how coaches teach and develop and fix stroke technique. And there have been countless books full of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of drills developed based on what coaches have been doing for years and years and years. But really, in the last 25 years, there's been a growing movement in coaching that's getting away from using heavy drill emphasis in teaching the foundations of stroke. And the idea behind that is mainly that these drills at slow speeds or isolated from the stroke itself often don't teach us how to maintain the stroke during a hard set or a practice, and can even potentially disrupt the stroke or worsen technique. So a lot of people now are focused on practicing perfect strokes at a hole and starting at a maintainable speed and trying to build it and implement perfect stroke at full speed and not using drill as a way to break it down. But that's what some coaches think. Obviously, I think that drills are very helpful, and especially when they're used specifically and directly, and we're explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it. But what do you think? Do you think that drills help you improve your stroke technique? Do you think that some drills do or some drills don't? Or do you think that, like many people now in swimming, that we should be getting away from drills and just trying to practice whole perfect strokes?